Sure made some good coffee this morning.
What are our plans for today?
Well, we have some loose ends to tie up in Reno.
That sounds like a good idea. We need to get some more supplies, too.
Yeah, we need to finish making our plan and get a few more people.
Yeah, we better get going. We'll be in Reno before sunrise. I hate being late.
All right, saddle up.
All ready?
FFA, I am pleased to present your 2013-2014 Nevada FFA State Officer Team and their favorite foods. This man will eat anything in front of him and once ate a whole large pizza in 53 minutes. Your 2013-2014 State Vice President, Bobby Fagundes. They say it's from Kansas, but it's not too bad. Her favorite is cornbread pudding. Your 2013-2014 State Sentinel, Lauren Gates. A girl who just loves a good steak. Your 2013-2014 State Secretary, McKenna Johnson. Tri-tip and garlic mashed potatoes. It just doesn't get much better than that. Your 2013-2014 State Reporter, Trevor DiDamasi. As he tells us, nobody makes biscuits and gravy like his grandmother. Your 2013-2014 State President, Deacon Marshall. If you asked her how she felt, she would say peachy. She's a fruit lover. Your 2014 State Treasurer, Christina White.
The convention hall will come to order. We're now holding the first general session of the 85th Nevada State FFA Convention. Mr. Vice President, all officers at their stations.
I shall call the roll of officers, determine if they're at their stations, and report back to you, Mr. President. The Sentinel.
Stationed by the door.
Your duties there?
Through this door pass many friends of the FFA. It is my duty to see that the door is open to our friends at all times, and that they are welcome. I care for the meeting room and paraphernalia. I strive to keep the room comfortable and assist the President in maintaining order.
The reporter.
The reporter is stationed by the flag.
Why by the flag?
As the flag covers the United States of America, so I strive to inform the people in order that every man, woman, and child may know that the FFA is a national organization that reaches from the state of Alaska to Puerto Rico and from the state of Maine to Hawaii.
The Treasurer.
Stationed at the emblem of Washington.
Your duties there?
I keep a record of receipts and disbursements, just as Washington kept his farm accounts, carefully and accurately. I encourage thrift among the members and strive to build up our financial standing through savings and investments. George Washington was better able to serve his country because he was financially independent.
The Secretary.
Stationed by the ear of corn.
Your duties there?
I keep an accurate record of meetings and correspond with other secretaries. Wherever fruit is grown, and FFA members meet.
The Advisor.
Here by the owl.
Why stationed by the owl?
The owl is a time-honored emblem of knowledge and wisdom. Being older than the rest of you, I am asked to advise you from time to time as need arises. I hope that my advice will always be based on true knowledge and ripened wisdom. Mr. Vice President, why do you keep a plow at your station?
The plow is a symbol of labor and tillage of the soil. Without labor, neither knowledge nor wisdom can accomplish much. My duties require me to assist at all times in directing the work of our organization. I preside over meetings in the absence of our president, whose place is beneath the rising sun.
Why is the president so stationed?
The rising sun is the token of a new era in agriculture. If we will follow the leadership of our president, we shall be led out of the darkness of selfishness and into the glorious sunlight of brotherhood and cooperation. Mr. President, all officers are at their stations.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. The Secretary will call the roll of members.
Capital FFA.
11 members.
Carson Valley FFA.
31 members present.
Churchill County FFA.
32 members present.
Diamond Mountain FFA.
33 members present.
Duck Valley FFA.
17 members present.
Lincoln County FFA.
16 members present.
Mason Valley FFA.
12 members present.
McDermott FFA.
Is there a representative from McDermott? All right.
Moapa Valley FFA.
18 members present.
Nile Valley FFA.
16 hardcore dedicated FFA members present.
Brannigan Valley FFA.
14 members present and 9 on the way.
Ruby Mountain FFA.
28 members from Ruby Mountain FFA.
Sandy Valley FFA.
Sandy Valley's not quite here yet.
Sierra Nevada FFA.
32 supercalifragilisticexpialidocious members present.
Silver Sage FFA.
68 family members present.
Smith Valley FFA.
21 amazing members present.
Smoky Valley FFA.
Is there a representative from Smoky Valley?
11 members present. Steptoe Valley FFA.
7 members present.
Virgin Valley FFA.
18 members present.
12 FFA.
34 golden members present.
White River FFA.
9 members present.
Winnemucca FFA.
40 proud members present.
There are 474 members and numerous guests present, Mr. President.
Thank you. FFA members, why are we here?
Practice brotherhood, honor agricultural opportunities and responsibilities, and develop those qualities of leadership which an FFA member should possess.
We accomplish our purposes. I now declare the first session of the Nevada FFA State Convention duly open for the transaction of business or attention to any matters which may properly be presented. In my opinion, there's no better food than that cooked over a campfire. Dutch oven biscuits, fried potatoes and bacon, and cowboy coffee. And makes my mouth water just thinking about it. Now, as we all know, the only way to start a journey is with a plan. A great place to make a plan is around a campfire. Now, many times, we'll start out without a plan, but this can lead to disaster. Nobody knows where they're going, and getting lost is inevitable. We began our journey to state with a chat at the truck wagon.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce to you tonight's session chair. He's the lovable cowboy of the team, and he could probably hold a conversation for 5 hours with somebody about Horn Herefords alone. The one and only Ethan Marshall.
Welcome to the first general session of the 85th United States FFA Convention. That's a mouthful, oh boy. All right, who's excited to be here tonight? Was that 437 members I heard? I don't think. Can I hear it one more time? I can tell you one thing though, guys, riding from Fallon to here on a stick horse sure makes you appreciate those buses you guys rode on to get here. I rode in them. Tonight, we begin a week of fun, competition, and making new friends. We'll hear greetings from our past state president and our governor, meet our state officer candidates, and Nevada's American degree recipients. We will then present our star administrator and chapter awards. We'll hear from our keynote speaker, Southern Region Vice President Jackson Harris, and award some CDE participants for their hard work. Lastly, we'll hear an inspirational message from a person dear to my heart, your state sentinel, Ms. Lauren Gates. We'd like to start tonight with a special presentation of our rules. Right State Convention, we're not all fools. We want to have some fun, we got to follow some rules. First is real simple, wear it all the time. Feedback's real important if you want to have a fun time. Problem number 2, you gotta have a buddy. If you caught without one in a day, it'll be cruddy.
We know you all have those smartphones with lots of creative ringtones. Let's do our best to shut them down. That's how it is in this here town. Turn them off or you'll have to pay. Do your best to make our day. Do everything the FFA way.
Me and Charlotte, besides that, got along for a pretty good while, up until Annalie went to college. And then about that time, I started to drive home from school in the afternoon, so I'd always be the first one getting home from high school. My parents would come home a couple hours later. And at that point, this is like 16 years later, right? So this little dog is still hanging on. This little dog is, at this point, is kind of only a dog in the academic sense, in that both of her parents were dogs, she still kind of looked like a dog, but she didn't do dog things anymore. She was 16 years old in like human terms, right? So that's really old in dog terms. So either way, at this point, she couldn't like fetch, she couldn't go play outside, she was blind, she couldn't hear. The only part of her that still worked was her digestive system. And I know that for a fact. Because every day when I came home, it was my responsibility to walk into the laundry room. We had shut Charlotte in there so she wouldn't get around. Not that she could very well. But so we put her in the laundry room so she could spend her day while I was at school. I'd come in, and this little dog could create havoc. I mean, it's such a small dog, but there's so much that can go wrong with that. I mean, as soon as you walk in the door, you're stepping over this. I mean, it's in her bed, it's under the washing machine, it's in the sink, it's on the ceiling, it's in the closet, everywhere, folks. It's everywhere. And that's not my thing, right? I don't really get into cleaning up like that. Not that anybody does, but that's definitely not my thing. Didn't enjoy it. But every day, didn't matter how great of a day I had in FFA, high school, I mean, how good of a grade on a test I made. I'll be having, singing Zippity Doo-Dah as I was walking into the house. But the minute that I had to walk in and clean after Charlotte, it would just go really bad. Well, I got to the point where I started to get really bitter about that. Because I was like, this is not even my dog. This is my sister's dog, this little thing, this Dementor. Ridiculous. Yeah, not my dog. So I would tell my mom one day, it had been a few months of me picking up after this dog day after day after day. And so my mom comes home one day and I said, Mom, can't do anymore. Can't do anymore. I'm going to go just spend some time, killing time till y'all get home first from now on because I can't walk into this room anymore. It's a dark place. And I said, it's not my dog. And my mom, of course, in her infinite wisdom, responded with, but it is your house. Which unfortunately is an excellent point. It's not my dog, and it had not been my dog that made a mess. I wasn't the one who made the mess, but still, since it was my house, it was my responsibility to help clean that up. That's what my mom said. Even if it's not my dog, it is my house. And sometimes there's those things that you just have to do. You just got to do them. Even if you don't want to, even if they don't seem fun to you, you still have to do them. And I can remember another time that I did something that I really didn't want to do. The summer before my freshman year of high school, there was a group of guys older than me. We were in this high adventure group. We like to go outside and do crazy stuff. And they wanted to go spelunking. Now let me hear you if you know what spelunking is. Great, so about 3.4% of you. That's perfect. Well, I knew exactly what spelunking was at the time, and I knew I didn't want to do it. See, spelunking is cave diving, which means you go out in the middle of the woods, find a hole in the earth, and then say, oh, let's go down there and see what happens. It's ridiculous. And all these older guys, these guys are about to be seniors and juniors in high school, they were like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. So here we go, spelunking, and Jackson's at the back of the line like, I don't know about that. So here we go, spelunking. We're in North Carolina. There's a cave that is quite literally, I'm not lying to you here, folks, named Black Hole. That's the name of the cave, and these people want to go exploring it. So I'm at the end of the line, and we jump into the black hole, right? We're going into this cave. And when you go spelunking, you have to prepare yourself for getting covered in mud and throwing away the clothes that you use, because they're not going to be good for anything once you come back out, if you come back out. So I'm wearing this old ratty t-shirt. We've all got these old greasy blue jeans on and stuff that we can, real rugged stuff. We kind of look like Rambo, right? And we're also wearing these like 7 dwarfs, like mining hats with the light on the front. You know what I'm talking about. So I kind of look like picture this, I'm covered in mud, right? I got this old t-shirt on, these jeans, boots on, this hard hat on with the light on the front. I look like a combination between Nicolas Cage and Bob the Builder. So I'm feeling pretty cool. So in this cave, it's absolutely gorgeous. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty cool to be down there, miles below the surface of the earth. You've got these stalactites and the stalagmites hanging everywhere. Pretty neat to be inside the earth. And if the scenes from there, these underground caverns and cathedrals of creation, if this didn't take your breath away, the claustrophobia definitely would. Because there were times when you literally had to turn your body like this and cock your head like this just to move forward. And you had to hold your mouth like this and talk like this too. And there'd be places where you had to lay on your back and turn your head a certain way to get through from one place to another. And I can remember that we were going through one of these little areas and it opens up a little bit, so we kind of get into a huddle and we're trying to plan our next move. And the guy who's guiding us through this cave, he kind of looks like Willie Nelson. Imagine what you think people from Alabama look like. And then this is that guy, right? Take all the stereotypes that you think about Alabamians and pile them in this one guy. He's got these braids, his face looks like a road map covered in wrinkles and stuff. And he turns around to us, got his light on his head, and looks at us. He said, do you want to see the waterfall? And again, all these older guys are like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And I'm like, no! I don't want to see the waterfall. First of all, this is a cave, bro. There's not a waterfall down here. You're lying through your tooth. But alas, majority rules. All you Parley Pro people, y'all know that. So majority rules, and so here we go. Going through these tunnels, all these cave openings and stuff, looking for this waterfall he says is going to be down there. And we get to a point where the only way to move forward, if you've ever seen Emperor's New Groove, you know what I'm talking about. The only way to move forward over this crevice, this schism in the earth, right, is to put your back against one side of earth, just like this here, excuse me. But you put your back against one side and your feet against the other, right? So I'm suspended over complete darkness. Yeah, bad. And so I'm back against this side, feet against this side, and I'm just working on this pressure here to move forward like this. It's pretty cool, I'm having a good time, this sort of thing. And then something really bad happens. Just like that, my light goes out. And this is bad. Because as we've got our back against the wall and our feet up against the other side, the tunnel curves back and forth like this. I'm at the end of the line. The older guys had already turned the corner, so no light from them. And I realized then what my guide was talking about when he said that the darkest place in or on the earth is inside of a cave. So everyone close your eyes right now. And then a million times darker than that is what I'm experiencing. So here I am, lights off, quite literally between a rock and a hard place. Rock, Jackson, hard place. Bad place to be with your light off. And I became very, very uncomfortable. Because it's in that moment when I realized the severity of my situation. When I've got my light going, all my friends are there, not around the corner. I'm feeling pretty good, this is pretty fun, spelunking's an awesome thing. And then the minute my light goes off, I'm like, this is terrible! Absolutely uncomfortable. And sometimes when we know the truth of our situation, when we find out the truth of being between a rock and a hard place with our back against the wall, that truth makes us very uncomfortable. I'm going to change gears here by sharing a little truth with you. And I hope you'll bear with me. And I hope this makes you uncomfortable. And I mean this. 1 in 5 American children will struggle with food insecurity. That's pretty bad. 1 in 4 American children, now American children, will grow up without learning to read. Now 1 in 3 American children will struggle with obesity as a child. And half of American children between the ages of 1 and 20 will at some point in their life live in a house that takes food stamps. Now that's pretty uncomfortable for American children living in one of the most wealthy and abundant countries in the world that has ever existed. Now these facts should make you very, very uncomfortable. And if they don't worry, because I've got more. Just wait. How about that 1 billion people in the world do not have access to health care? That should make you uncomfortable. The U.S. has the highest teen pregnancy rate in the industrialized world. Suicide is the 3rd leading cause of death for 10 to 24-year-olds. Smoking-related diseases cause 440,000 deaths each year in the U.S. Every 2 minutes, someone in the U.S. is sexually assaulted. 77% of students are physically or verbally bullied. 120 million children work full-time to help support their families around the world. 3/4 of U.S. schools need repairs and renovations. 1 in 10 senior citizens experience abuse from a caregiver. Over half of teens have been bullied online. If that doesn't make you uncomfortable, something should. I've got a whole deck of them right here in my pocket, and thousands more of these uncomfortable facts, uncomfortable truths of our situation right now, this minute, are just a Google away. Just look it up. You see, the good news is that these make us uncomfortable. Because being uncomfortable, realizing the truth of the situation, realizing the truth of darkness that surrounds some people, with their backs against the wall, that uncomfortableness, that discomfort, motivates us to action. Because let me tell you, the minute I was down in that cave with my back against the wall, light goes out, and I realized just how bad of shape I'm in, I want something to change. And unfortunately, we go through life okay with the status quo. We get to a point where we're like, well, that's not happening to me, or that's not in my country, or that's not in my state, or that's not in my chapter, or that's not in my ag class, that's not in my chapter officer team, so that problem doesn't matter. I'm okay with the status quo, and you're comfortable with it. So you don't act. You don't act. But discomfort, looking truth in the eye, realizing the truth of the situation, that motivates us to action, to change the status quo, to make things better. So it's good to be uncomfortable. Get uncomfortable and stay uncomfortable, because that is the only thing that has ever created change in this world. Now let me take you back to the cave. Again, let me remind you, rock, Jackson, hard place, back against the wall, feet up against the other side. I realize the situation I'm in, just how bad of a shape I'm in right now. And I do what any other logically minded person would do. I scream like an 8-year-old girl. Just just like that, right? Which in the cave sounded a lot like, ah! Well, of course, my buddy Steven hears this shrill throughout the night. Comes around the corner. He's like, hey man, what's going on? Are you stuck? No, just enjoying the scenery, Steven. Of course, I couldn't talk that well, so at the time I was like, and Stevie starts laughing. And I'm composing myself, stuck between this rock and a hard place, and I said, Steven, how can you be laughing at a time like this? You're about to witness me perishing. And he keeps on laughing. I said, seriously, man, what you laughing about? He said, your light went out? And I said, yeah. He says, why don't you just use the extra one hanging around your neck? Can you believe that? I felt ridiculous. The whole time I was screaming there, bawling my eyes out, freaking out, more like Bob the Builder than Nicolas Cage at that point. I had totally forgotten that I had an extra light. They gave us each one when we went down in this cave for just such an event. I had what I needed all along. And it took Steven coming back around the corner and shining his light on me to realize that I had what it took. I had what I needed to keep moving forward to get out of that bad spot. Let me tell you today, folks, you've got that too. You've got a light. And I hope that people around you are shining their light on you to make you realize that. Because you don't need much, folks. Because you've already got a light. Now there's things that make us uncomfortable. And there's truths in this world that need to change. Status quos that need to take action on. But you've got what it takes. We all do, each and every one of us. And if you don't believe me, look at this. Imagine in your head the most influential person you could ever think of that ever walked this planet. Could be anyway. I mean, could be anybody. Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King, Jesus of Nazareth, Mahatma Gandhi, whoever. Prophet Muhammad. Think of that person, the most influential person that's ever walked the planet. Now, when they woke up in the morning, how many hours in the day did they have to change the world? Who said it? 24? Got on the lunch shirt. Yeah, 24. George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, 24 hours. 24 hours. Now you'll do better this time. Think about when you wake up in the morning. Each and every one of you. How many hours in the day do you wake up with to change the world? 24 hours. No more, no less, and that's exactly what you need. That's what we all need to make a difference. We've got to get uncomfortable. We've got to put ourselves in these positions and look that truth in the eye. Become very aware of something that makes us uncomfortable, and it can be anything. Whatever makes you uncomfortable, pick that. Pick what your passions and your talents line up with and go fight it. Go fight injustice. Go change what makes you uncomfortable. Go change the status quo because you've got what it takes. You've got a light within you that you can use to move forward, to make progress, to get out of those bad situations in the darkness and shine your light on other people and let them know that they've got what it takes too. Now, this is a bad place that we're in right now. There's a lot of bad truths, and I shared some of them with you tonight. A lot of bad truths. But luckily, we are blessed with more opportunities for change than have ever been afforded this world. With one click of a button, you can connect with some way clear across around the world. You can add a group together on Facebook. You can send a text message to a best friend who really needs it. You can send an email to someone pledging your support for some cause that they've gotten behind. Folks, we have what it takes because it takes 24 hours. Get uncomfortable. Stay uncomfortable. Do something every day when you wake up that changes the status quo. Because it'll stay that way. It'll stay dark for people around the world unless we shine our light on others with the 24 hours that we have each day to make a difference. In this organization, we make an impact in our home and community. But we believe that we, each and every one of us, can stand solid for our part in that inspiring task. Get uncomfortable. Stay uncomfortable. You've got what it takes. So change the world. Thank you very much.
Please assume an attitude of respect as your state officers deliver their reflections.
Every person is filled with characteristics that show others what they can do and how amazing they are while performing those tasks. One of the greatest attributes a person can have is having commitment to their beliefs. Many individuals are considered great because they stand by what they believe in. This week, we will have the chance to show others what we stand by and how amazing we are. Please assume an attitude of respect as your state officers perform their reflections entitled Commitment.
I was in the first grade, and I remember our teacher running into the room and saying, "Do you guys know what happened today?" Having no TV, I had no idea that on that September morning, 4 U.S. airplanes had been hijacked. 2 crashed into the World Trade Centers in New York, a third, the Pentagon in Virginia, and a fourth, a field in Pennsylvania. Our 43rd president, George W. Bush, said on the day of the attacks, "America has stood down enemies before, and we will do so this time. None of us will ever forget this day. Yet we go forward to defend freedom and all that is good and just in our world." On October 7th, 2001, Operation Enduring Freedom began, with the goal of finding Osama bin Laden, the Al-Qaeda leader of the attacks, eliminating the Taliban, and making Afghanistan ultimately terrorist-free.
Fast forward to June 28, 2005, in Asadabad in the Hindu Kush of Afghanistan. During this time, part of Operation Red Wings was being conducted by 4 U.S. Navy SEALs.
These SEALs were Lieutenant Michael Murphy, Gunner's Mate 2nd Class Danny Dietz, Sonar Technician 2nd Class Matthew Axelson, and Hospital Corpsman Marcus Luttrell.
The objective of Operation Red Wings was to eliminate a leader of a Muslim extremist group known as the Taliban.
The duty of the SEAL team was to survey the Taliban leader and his militia by scanning a small village from their vantage point on a nearby mountain.
While on the mountaintop, shepherds from a village below compromised the SEALs' position. The SEALs were forced to hold the shepherds captive.
The SEALs now had 2 choices. One would be to let them go. The second would be to exterminate them. The SEALs knew that the shepherds would reveal their position once they were set free.
The shepherds were soon released. They immediately informed the Taliban about the Americans' position.
Not long after, the SEALs found themselves in an intense gunfight with their combatants. Shortly following the first shot, each SEAL was covered with multiple gunshot and shrapnel wounds. Marcus Luttrell was the only one to escape alive by burying himself in the crevice of a rock.
The next day, Marcus crawled 7 miles to where he met a local villager named Mohammed Gulab. This man was not part of the Taliban, and he had no interest in hurting Marcus. Mohammed knew right away that Marcus was in trouble, and he sprung to action to help him.
Mohammed took Marcus back to his village to find refuge. When the Taliban militia found that Mohammed was housing Marcus, they offered him anything to turn him over.
By refusing to give Marcus up, Mohammed was honoring the code of Pashtun Ali. This code was made by the village 2,000 years ago that grants the guests complete protection even if they're in imminent danger. Muhammad kept Marcus safe by hiding him in several houses in the village and in some nearby caves.
After 4 days of hiding, Marcus Luttrell was finally rescued by Army Rangers who had been scouring the mountains looking for him.
Without Muhammad's help, Marcus may not have made it out alive. Muhammad's open heart and belief in his morals kept Marcus safe so he could return to his family.
Marcus Luttrell believes in justice and liberty, and in 2005, he did whatever it took to stay alive as a commitment to that belief. Without the commitment to his beliefs, he would not have come to life with such an iron grip. Muhammad Gulab believes in the code of Pashtun Wali, and he made a commitment to that belief when he saved Marcus. As FFA members, we all have amazing attributes and are a part of something bigger than ourselves. And as FFA members, it is our job to make sure that we make an impact on those around us through commitment to our beliefs. We can all take a page from the books of Marcus and Muhammad. Whether we are soldiers or farmers, we must be committed to our beliefs. If we stand by them, then one day we too will be remembered, just like Marcus Luttrell and Muhammad Gulab.